That's where a lot of the education comes in, getting people to understand that, I can treat eye conditions. I can help you see better using acupuncture and herbs. And most people are like, really? How? You're going to put needles in my eyes? No, that's not how it works. But it's really the skepticism, again, that kind of goes back to that whole energy medicine thing. People are like, how can you put a needle in my foot and it's going to affect my vision? Well, because we've now done functional MRIs that can actually show that when I put a needle in your foot, it stimulates an area of your brain that is affecting your optic nerve. How they figured that out 3,000 years ago, I'll never know.
Well, it's definitely my honor to have Dr. Filkins to join me for this show. We are living in the same city. Let's welcome our guest.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Filkins is the West-East navigator, and I'm the East-West navigator. She born in Indianapolis, but she went to California to learn acupuncture and Chinese medicine. She has her own practice in the Indianapolis area, is helping people to understand their own body and mental health, pain control, addiction, particularly for some of the chronic diseases. She has her magic way to help them to recover. So I would like to know your West-East navigation journey, how you get into the Chinese medicine and become a doctor in acupuncture.
Yeah, so it's sort of a long story. I originally had a full scholarship to Purdue for mechanical engineering out of high school, and I thought that's what I wanted to do, and turns out after one semester I absolutely hated it. And being young and dumb, I just walked away from a full scholarship instead of switching majors. And I was dating somebody at the time, followed him out to California because that's where he needed to be for what he wanted to do. And worked for 10 or so years. Got interested in veterinary medicine. So went to school for that. Originally was going to be a veterinarian, and then once I got in school, realized how difficult it was going to be for me to maintain pretty much a straight A average while working a full-time job. Because to get into veterinary school, you really have to be at the top of your game as far as your undergrad grades. So I decided to sort of switch down a little bit and go into veterinary technician medicine. So it's the same medicine, just I'm the one who's on the floor with the animals versus the one who's actually writing up the orders. So did that, loved it. I really enjoyed working with animals and did that full-time as an emergency and critical care third shift veterinary technician for about 15, 16 years, something like that. And I was just at the point where I was at complete burnout. And I had been studying Wing Chun Kung Fu, which is what Bruce Lee began with, and learning all this Eastern philosophy, and just decided that there's got to be more to this, because I was seeing that what could be done with the Eastern side of things and how they viewed things and how everything was holistic and all connected and intertwined, whereas conventional allopathic medicine that we were using in the veterinary world, everything was segmented and compartmentalized. And I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. So I started researching and found out about acupuncture, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And being in Los Angeles at the time, there were several schools, so I went and checked them out and found one that I really felt comfortable at, applied, and the rest is kind of history from there. And I just, by my third year, I was just really getting homesick because I was born and raised here in Indiana, and just, I was done with LA. I was done with big city life, and decided that I was going to finish up somewhere in the Midwest, and found a school in Chicago. It went through all of, getting transcripts and all that stuff taken care of, to find out that they actually had a sister campus in Racine, Wisconsin, which is a small town very similar to Mooresville, where I grew up. And I'm like, okay, this is perfect, because I really didn't want to move to another big city. And so instead of going to Chicago, I went to Wisconsin. Finished up school there, and while I was there, I started dating my now husband and opened my first practice. And from there, we decided that I had always wanted to bring this medicine back to Indiana. I just felt, and still do, feel like there's a need for more holistic and Eastern medicine in this area. And so, yeah, I just decided that I wanted to move back, and we waited till my stepson turned 18 and he decided what he was going to do, and we moved. And now I've got my second practice and things are going great.
Great. Well, how lucky we are to have you come back
Thank
here.
you.
Because I think this is so important. Regardless of West or East, you need to have a different alternative, right? And particularly right now, the 21st century, or the technology got really the quantum leap. We have so many options using just the physical thing, like the light, the water, the sound, more naturally we already exposed to. So we don't need to engineer to have new form of a chemical or synthetic compounds to do it. So I think for your navigation, becoming an acupuncture doctor, did you see what is the really big difference between the Western medicine and the East way to heal?
Two huge differences that I can see. One is that Eastern medicine looks at the whole person. So their healing modalities are based on holistically fixing the problem, not just, oh, you've got pain and inflammation in your knee, we're only going to focus on that. Well, that pain and inflammation in your knee could be caused partly because you have gut dysbiosis and your body's not absorbing the foods that it needs to help decrease that inflammation. So it's all connected. And then there's also the psychological component, and conventional medicine we compartmentalize way too much. Everything needs to be looked at as a whole. That's the big difference that I've seen, one of the big differences between Eastern and Western medicine. The other one is understanding. Eastern medicine seems to understand that healing is a process and that it takes time. And it took you X amount of years to get to this point where your body's not functioning the way it should. I can't just fling a couple of needles and boom, you're better. It doesn't work that way. So it's really about getting people to understand that it takes time. And whereas conventional medicine, you're told that if you take this pill or you get this surgery, you'll be back to normal in 2 days. And that's just not the case. It can't be.
Yeah. Because I think we do want the efficiency to get things done. But I think sometimes we're not doing an effective way. Right, look like efficient, we get it done, but then the side effects, or this, because our body is so amazing, we didn't know this is that actually is linked together, right? So, but just like you mentioned about the East, actually it's the whole body. So we are all energy in a way. We all know that right now, like everything's energy. But let's say, okay, my shoulders hurt, so it's that. But maybe that's just the indication somewhere else is misalignments, but it's not the pain over here. It just need to kind of go through the whole body and do assessments and maybe move around a little bit to really know where that's coming from. Or even more of the different level is maybe your emotions, right? Maybe the negativity you were trapped too long. We didn't process, and our body just wants to communicate.
Absolutely. And it's really interesting. I have a lot of colleagues that never want to refer to what we do as energetic medicine. Well, it is energetic medicine because, like you said, at the cellular level, we're nothing but energy anyway. So it doesn't matter technically if you're using Eastern or Western, it's still a form of energetic medicine. The difference is it actually fixing the problem and getting to the root cause, or is it just masking the symptoms?
So I'm just curious about when you navigated to California, to Wisconsin, and back to Indianapolis, did you see the regional people, the acceptance to this alternative medicine?
I've been on both coasts for either living or visiting, and it is definitely more widely accepted on the East and the West Coast. People are very skeptical about things they don't understand and don't know, and that's typical. That's not out of the ordinary. So in Wisconsin and here, people are still learning what this medicine can do, because most people only think of acupuncture for pain relief, and they only think of it after everything else has failed them. And that's where a lot of the education comes in, getting people to understand that, I can treat eye conditions. I can help you see better using acupuncture and herbs. And most people are like, really? How? You're going to put needles in my eyes? No, that's not how it works. But it's really the skepticism, again, that kind of goes back to that whole energy medicine thing. People are like, how can you put a needle in my foot and it's going to affect my vision? Well, because we've now done functional MRIs that can actually show that when I put a needle in your foot, it stimulates an area of your brain that is affecting your optic nerve. How they figured that out 3,000 years ago, I'll never know. But they did. And we have proof now that it's not just energetic medicine. It is, but it isn't. It's truly medicine.
I don't think they are smarter than us. They don't even bother to really tell people what exactly the step 1, 2, 3, 4, because it's everything's energy. You cannot really follow the same formula. Right. You can kind of know the layout, like the device, right? The body mechanic. We know like the mechanic and the meridian, how they line up. Those things just need to know. But it's up to that person, the intuition in a way. They touch the patient, or they listen to the pulse. They are listening to 2 different beats, the yin and yang. It's just everything's binary, is duality. By doing that, because that's how the ancient people, when they become so-called doctor, they have to be an apprentice for decades, at least, to observe the master. And usually master don't tell them what's going on. They just want them to watch. Until the master begin to understand, he can take that inspiration or intuition into practice, and they will teach that person. So it's very, very selective. So I believe that's how some of the knowledge got lost. Anything.
And it's interesting. So it's interesting that you bring that up, because I actually see that with colleagues who are from Asian descent. They just don't talk about it the way that we do. I mean, we are always asking questions. We always want to know. Whereas when it comes to people that have been doing this for centuries, they're like, just watch, just learn. How? So I don't feel that they're truly hiding anything. It's just that's how they've always, that's how they've been raised and brought up, and that's how you do things.
Well, it's different level, because we know the knowledge, intelligence, and wisdom, they are just different level, right? The knowledge is just a book and something we can pass the test with. But the intelligence is really how you can judge based on the book and how to apply to things in our life, or if you're a doctor, how to treat your patients. But the wisdom is really the intuition. It's just flow with your system. You don't even need to flip the book and say, okay, meridian 1, 2, 3, whatever, right? Because everything is already in you. You're the instrument to deliver that wisdom. So I think it's just, for us right now, it's not only the West, it's the generation, the modern society really want to have that certification for something to prove we know the knowledge. But of course, the practice definitely will lead that person to become the wiser person and can really do their job right.
Yeah.
But I think for me, based on my experience as a scientist, we all want to have techniques and do things to say, why not, right? We can break through and clone DNA here and there. But what we don't know, like, really, what is DNA? What is DNA once we clone them? Are they still the same thing? I think, it's just moving genes around. What's the big deal? But in the energetic way, it is a big deal.
Yeah.
Sure, right? And the DNA just create different conformation protein. It's not the same thing. So the energetic level, they are not expressed the same thing. Now that's how we have some kind of dilemma. Food look like the same thing, but they didn't give us the right energy. They didn't give us the nutrition our body really needed. Because I think that is teach us a lesson. Don't judge book by color, even they are look at the same.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Same
Absolutely.
thing.
I mean, that's a very valid point when you're talking just about food. I mean, think about it, genetically modified versus organically grown. The difference is massive as far as, you know, how it affects the body.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see we have a good use of the technology, but then with our limited understanding about a lot of things, we just start to, you know, because the quantum leap, we start to see the energy we can, you know, apply for all this different devices, you know, using the quantum mechanics, but then we need to be very careful because we might just, again, misjudged about this is for what. Like the medicines already prove we are really missing a lot.
Yeah.
Right? We just hit the symptom, but then what's the going on behind the whole system, we don't even know.
Exactly.
Well, today I'm just honored to actually disclose your genetic profile. That is part of the human design system. The human design system was downloaded to the founder, Ra, in 1987. So the human design system is also called the Maya differentiation because we are living in the 3D. We are coming from the same source, but we all look differently. We have different experiences, a different imprinting. That makes us unique. But we shouldn't separate, say, oh, I'm better or I'm different. Like we look different, just like, you know, the a lot of genetic cloning, you can make it totally the same thing, but they are still different. So the human design is really just combine all this esoteric system, but give us more hints about our journey, why we are here. You know, maybe have some indication your energy flow. So we're going to focus on the gene keys. It has 3 different sequences. The first one is called activation sequence. That is to indicate our doing and being. We come in here, do a lot of things because we feel like that's our obligation. That's what we're here for. So we do. It's kind of polish the skills and learn something, learn the knowledge, later become our own. Your doing pair is called life work and evolution. So I indicated before, like that is really what we're here to learn. We're doing a lot of challenges, and through that we learn, and the skill later will really help us to fulfill our purpose. So for you, you are 63 and 64. Remember I said it's only got 64 different combinations. Yeah. The 4 keys, very, very important, is number 1, 2, and number 63 and 64. Because each gene, the hexagram never ends. It's like a circle. So even the 64 is the last one, actually is indicate the beginning. So you will be feeling you always something want to get done, but another beginning to start. So you constantly has this shift. Okay. So you will feel like you have to get things done quickly because you're always in the flow. It was just 63, 64, and that kind of give you more of the doubt. Because 63, gene keys also is not saying you have to work hard to get to the next level. It's more like you already got everything you need. You already have everything. But it's your conscious level. When you're not conscious enough, then you will see the shadow. Okay. But when you start to embracing the shadow, you say, well, since I couldn't get out, let's just take the most of it. Then you go to the gift consciousness level. So from that point, you become more creative. You don't feel you're limited. And then last level is the very just become light. You merge with your true essence, because your essence is really not far from energy. You're totally energy. Like we just living in this 3D body, we have to figure it out, but we are coming from the same source, right? So the highest is the light. So for you, you are 63 in the default frequency or shadow is the doubt. So in your experience, when you start to have awareness, you usually like to ask questions like, why? how? So that becomes your imprinting. That's your life work. You constantly asking this question, but then you have evolution key 64 in your low vibe. Like the default is confusion. So because the doubt and confusion give you more chance to evolve, because you don't like to stay in this uncertainty, right? So you go out to find a reason or something you can live with it. But because that sometimes you don't understand, you rather just to go out to find the answer other than to face it. That's the low vibration. When we're young, when we're not sure, we feel insecure, we try to kind of kill it, right? If I don't like it, take it away, or just don't want to see it. But from that 63 64 is an amazing pair, because with that doubts and confusions, eventually you will find the truth for yourself, because that is you're looking for the answers. But you all know now, I believe, there's no answer for everything. So the truth will be no one can really answer anything, because everything's changing, right? The energy. So the truth is like, there are some things we don't need an answer for it. We just flow with it. The more we want to know the answer, and we kind of trap in that jail. It's like, gosh, I couldn't see the answer. I don't want to let it go. But I don't know about you. My answers are always happening when I don't look.
Yeah.
Then I relax. So that is your evolution and life work. And eventually your evolution will give you to have a breakthrough. It's not only just to find out the answer, but it's begin to love yourself, begin to accept who you are, just live with your true power. So that is your evolution and the life work.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's just a different way to see ourselves sometimes. Yeah. But this is the doing part, which means after a certain time, your evolution will bring you back to your beingness. Because doing is what we associate our conscious mind to, but the being is more like subconscious or unconscious. Because the beingness is really when we relax and also just don't force ourselves and go to understand our beingness. So your beingness, two keys, radiance and purpose. And the radiance is for our health. So the more you align with who you are, right, you feel happier and you don't have a lot of pain and you think everything's fun. So that's the beingness. By the way, in human design language, there's a 4 types of energy people, and you are the manifesting generator. That means you are always have a power and the force, and you don't want to wait.
No, that's true.
You like to take actions.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but that manifesting generator, the strategy really for them to wait a little bit, not to jump in like reactive. And if we kind of contemplate a little bit before we say yes, I'm the generator too, because I always just volunteer. Who want to do that? Yeah, me. And then I say, I don't even want that. Right? It's just, I don't give myself time to wait. And for you, number 5, so that's the beingness. Your default is impatience. And that is not a problem if we do something right. We just take action to do the right thing. But can be a problem when someone come to want us to do, we say yes, but then later say, I overcommitted. That can be a problem. Sure. Then that can impact our health, right? So your radiance, if you more understand yourself and energy flow and be all at ease a little bit, you can shift to patience. Then the highest, if everybody has a potential, right? We don't limit ourselves. So the very highest is just called timelessness, because you're in the flow, right? So if you're really healthy, you're happy, it's something you do, even look like busy, but you're in the flow. So you don't care about time. And the more things you do, that can keep you healthier.
Okay.
because you are all aligned. Your energy is just limitless coming down from the source. So that's your number 5. Then the purpose key, always the life purpose and stuff. Most of us believe the purpose is from the doing. But really, you think of all other things around us, their purpose is really just who they are. The tree, the plants, the animal, they just do what they come here to do. They don't want to be, the cat, like your fancy dog. That's the thing, they want to be a cat, right? It just love to be a dog. So this is the purpose for everything. And humans turn to be complicated things. We will want to, kind of conditioned by our society in a way, oh, you need to be this, you need to be that, otherwise you're not successful or you're not good enough. So our minds start to program us, and we away from our true purpose, just to be us, right? We are all different. We all have different experiences. So the purpose here for you is 35. It's the hunger to know the truth. In the process, the adventure become something really happen. So you don't need to answer anymore. You just enjoy the process. Okay. So for your purpose is from here and there, and you eventually become boundless. So that means you don't need to just go out. You can come in. You can go inside. So you don't need to set out the boundaries. I really go out to seek. You can choose. Sometimes you're alone. What about just go in, right? It just need to be balanced. So out, in, you can be totally flow like water. So that's your purpose.
A lot of it rings true. I mean, I definitely did the impatience thing without a doubt. But yeah, it's really interesting. This is just based on basically where the stars were aligned when I was born, right?
It's similar like that. That's because there is energy imprinting in our DNA level. I'm a scientist. I am very analytical. If I don't understand, I want to go deeper to find out. So what I get recently, combined the modern science, is the time we're born actually is entanglement in the energy field with all the information from solar system. Quantum mechanics says our body is such a great receiver, and our DNA is to store those information. So it sounds like a science fiction movie. But I think that more and more people start to have evidence. I'm a very curious person. So what they say right now is, if you think about, we are receiving the information from the solar system, right? Like a TV. So the broadcast is always out there. They're changing, based on the season, right? But then our body process that, then our brain will give the label, this, that. So because we have a very advanced brain, then that is all good. There's nothing wrong with it. But however, because we are not only living alone, right? So anybody else, their memory or their imprinting, their childhood experience, their trauma, they all coming to us. So we're living in this collective negativity right now because everybody's not happy for some reason. Yeah. And I think from your human design chart, you have wide open solar plexus and spleen center and the root. Those three is on the bottom of the chakra. So it's easy to be influenced by people you associate with.
It's definitely interesting to think. I mean, if you think about it, that, like you said, we're all in one way or another connected because of the time that we were born and how it's all intertwined. And yeah, it's really fascinating.
But the other we can think about snowflakes. They all coming like water, but they don't have the same crystal form. The reason is the location, the timing, right? They're just, it's just a little second differences or location. They will be different formation. But it's fun for me. Is I don't have an answer for that. It's just that's my question. But I start to see that might make sense if that is, we have a way to prove it. Our body identity is not really who we are. So if we associate, my body is like that, so when I not here, then I'm gone. We're talking about the consciousness. They have the study, the science for consciousness. It talk about really our body is just like a TV set. So the broadcast is always right there, but the TV set can can be broken. So we just need to find another one and continue to have the broadcast. But that's right now they try to, where is the consciousness? Where we can continue to the broadcasting? And I think the evidence right now is this near death. A lot of like million people they passed, right? But they come back and they understand their body actually is not them.
Yeah.
Because they can still see their body, but they still conscious, right? So I mean, this for me is the whole thing that we are yet to know. It is just fascinating with the current knowledge and technology. We think we are going to have a quick breakthrough.
Yeah, I think.
And understand ourselves better.
And so many people are, I mean, it's valid. It's a valid fear that people are afraid of dying because they don't know what's on the other side. But if you think of it the way we're discussing it right now and the way it should be looked at, we are nothing but energy. Energy never dies, it just mutates. So you never truly die.
Yeah.
This vehicle that we're here in passes away, but the energy that is you just goes on in a different form. Even if you don't have a near-death experience, but if you start looking at it that way, it makes the acceptance of what's going to happen, that you are eventually, your body is going to die and you're going to, stop breathing and no longer be here. It makes it all that much easier to accept and be okay with.
Yeah, it's really our viewpoint, right? Our mind.
If you take that concept that, again, we're nothing but energy, translating that into healing the body, I mean, oh my gosh, it opens up so many doors if people can just wrap their heads around it. And a lot of times that's the problem, is they just can't understand it.
Yeah, well, that's how you become so important to bring in different alternative way and work like a magic. They try everything else, then it didn't work until they find you.
Yeah.
Right? So I want you to share how people can find you.
Yeah. So my company is Zen Penguin Wellness, and that was in honor of my mom. My mom loved penguins, so when she passed away and I opened my second business, I'm like, I need to honor her some way, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing if it wasn't for her encouragement. So, but it's zenpenguinwellness.com, and I'm located on the south side of Indianapolis, near Thompson and 31, just below 465. Yeah,
great,
and then
great.
Phone number is 317-529-7853. I don't do phone consultations because when you come in for your consultation, you also get your first treatment. So I make it worth your time. Wow. It's not just come in, do the consultation, and then come back next week and we'll do the treatment. You get everything. You get started that day.
Well, that's your way to turn the impatient become patient, because they do need it, because they already patiently wait for the solution.
Right.
So you need to get it done now. I really appreciate
that's definitely my impatience coming through, because it's like I don't like to wait around for anything. Let's get this done.
Yeah, I'm so honored to have you again. So
we are really growing a holistic community. I mean, it's amazing, just in the few years that I've been back here, how much it has grown and how many people are getting on board with wanting to find holistic everything from lawn care to pet care. I mean, it doesn't matter. People are looking for it. So we have a really strong core group that is growing and trying really hard to establish Indianapolis as a holistic hub.
All right. Good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there are people that are, working their magic. Karen Burr from Materia Medica, she's phenomenal. Jennifer Safran, who heads Indy Holistic Hub. I mean, we have so many different people that are to just get the word out there and highlight all of us. If we're doing something holistic, they're trying to get the word out so people know that you do have options. You don't have to rely on the old standards.
Well, that is how the unity consciousness work, right? We all different, but then we can combine with the same purpose to really help others understand their body, understand they have everything in control.
Absolutely.
If they just want to do it, if it's the energy, just direct the energy flow. Other than, we don't need too many things, because we have the shadow, we have the give, we have this highest expression. We just need to cling and let it shine. That is the only thing we need to do. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed this, and you digging deep into my chart is amazing.
Okay, thanks.